Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, we will be playing the game Storm of Steel Ju-87 Stuka Eastern Front from designer Joe Fernandez and publisher Compass Games. Now, this is kind of your solitaire air mission game, so it'll share some similarities in, at least thematically and maybe some mechanics as well with games like the Gregory M. Smith, Interceptor Ace and things like that. And the Dan Versen games, leader games like Stuka Leader. So it is a solitaire game, and I did do a first look at it. So if you want more information about the components and a little bit of an introduction, I guess you would say, to the game, you can check that video out. But this one, we're going to get into the gameplay itself. So the big difference between those games I mentioned earlier is that whereas in those games, well, as in the Gregory Smith games, you're managing one aircraft, and in Stuka Leader you have various aircraft that are Luftwaffe aircraft. But in this game, you're basically commanding a Staffel or Kette of Stuka aircraft. So same type, and you have up to 10 that you can command on a mission. And it has a campaign where you can start off in Operation Barbarossa in June of 41. And play all the way through the Battle of Kursk or Operation Citadel in the summer of 1943. So 2 full years of potential gameplay here. We're going to get down to business. I'm going to start a campaign. So we're going to start right at the beginning with Operation Barbarossa. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is figure out what our mission is. So we've got here our charts and tables, right? Now, A1 is where you select your missions. So you roll 2d6 to get a number from 2 to 12, and that's going to tell you what your target is, and it's going to vary by the various time periods, right? So you've got June and July of 41, then August through October 41, then November, December 41, then you've got August, October 42, and November, February 42 for the Case Blue, Stalingrad campaign, and then you have your Operation Citadel / Kursk, where you're flying the G-type Stuka, and you're attacking mostly armor. And then you'll have zones, which correlate to these zones right here. Now, this is a wide-out look at the map or the board, and I've got almost the whole board in this shot. Most of it is in the shot. These card areas down here are identical to these, and we're missing, the specialized ordnance box down here and a little bit of the scoring box. And then the replacement crew at the bottom. This is our 10 active crew here. The pilots and gunners, they're paired together. Everybody's a veteran here in our starting 10. And then we have one replacement, which is off shot right now. And that is a green pilot and green gunner. Should somebody, get KIA from our group here, we would be able to replace them with a green crew. But this crew is all of these crews rather, are entirely veteran crews. Now, I will zoom in on the map or the board some as we play to kind of tighten things up and show a little bit more of the gameplay itself. A lot of the charts are on the board. You see charts all up here. We have player aid cards like this one. Here's A1, which is not on the board, but A2 is right here. And then you have A3 and A4, which are here and here on the player aid card. A5 and 6. Here's 6. I believe 5 is not on here. So that is the operation and campaign scoring chart. But anyway, to get back to the matter at hand, we're going to roll 2d6 here on the June-July 41. We'll be doing regular, which is 18 missions, and we're going to roll here and see what we get. And then if we roll for a maritime mission, we have to roll again, 1d10, to determine what type of target we'll be attacking. What type of naval target we'll be attacking. So as I mentioned, the first thing we're going to do is roll 2d6. And we got a 10. And a 10 on our chart is airfield. Okay, so we pull an airfield target out. And this is an airfield target counter. That's going to go as soon as we figure out where we are. So now we have to roll again in terms of how far out we are. We rolled a 5, and a 5 is zone 5. So this is actually kind of a little bit further back from the air base that we're starting in. So we'll put our target in here. And whoops, upside down. This is a large target, which impacts accuracy and so on. So the next step, and they provide a nice how to play player aid card. So you go through here. So you're going to, we're in this area right here where we rolled for the mission. Oh, I was supposed to roll them together. I did it separately. But we'll go with what we rolled here. We recorded on the log sheet. I'll do that momentarily. Place the mission on the zone number corresponding to the result. That's here. So you can see you can kind of go through this, and it's a simple and easy way to not forget what you're doing as you're going through this, instead of having to refer back to the rule book over and over again. So that's a nice thing. So our next step is to place the Staffel or Kette counter, which I've already done. It's right there. Then we're going to place our aircraft cards, crew, and flight leader counters on the air ops mat from top left to top right, starting, or top left to right, starting with the flight leader. And then we're going to shuffle the event cards, which I've also already done. They're right up here. And then we're going to select our payload. We're going to place the aircraft that are flying on the mission into an opaque container. There are numbered counters for that, and we'll pull them out, and that'll tell us which aircraft is targeted, if we get an interception or anti-aircraft fire, etc. Okay, so here's our mission log. As you can see, STG-77. I put campaign in here. Here are our 5 pilots that we're going to use for this mission. It's mission 1 in June of 41. Rudel, because I could not pass up having Hans Ulrich Rudel in there. Kluber, Hanna, von Schambam, and Kraus are our pilots. Hagen, Peckgren, Light, Grant, and Rupert are our gunners. It is an airfield target. Size is large. It is in Zone 5, and we are sending 5 aircraft. Having said that, here are our cards. So here is Rudel with his gunner, who is Hagen. Kluber and Peckgren, Hanna and Light, von Schambam and Grant, Kraus and Rupert is the 5th. The score counters will be used to track their scores when they attack. The DRMs, I forgot to put out. So veterans get, I believe, a -1, which you can see here on that for bailout and landing. But for attack, they get a 0. So we just will put our DRM here on 0, and that moves based on things that might happen, stress, etc. If you're familiar with the Dan Versen Games Leader Series, stress plays a big role in those games, and it plays a role in this one. Crew stress is a real thing, just like it is. Stress in general is always a effect of combat. Once we've done that, we are ready to start moving. So we move our Staffel here from the airfield to Zone 1. So here's our Luftwaffe escort table. And you can see in June and July of 41, airfield full cover, Zone 1 full cover. So you don't have to roll for intercept, but you do have to draw an event card. And our event card is return to base. Randomly select one aircraft to return to base immediately. Resolve landing roll, remove from deck for Operation Citadel. That is not the case here. There are also some interesting little facts there. It says during World War II, Junkers delivered a total of 5,126 Ju-87s. That's a lot. Okay, so let's draw our lucky or unlucky aircraft out here. And we get number 5. Number 5 is Kraus and Rupert. They will be returning to base, so I'm just going to pick up their card and move it out of the way, and I'm going to return them to their spot in the crew holding area, which is over here, but I'll do that in a bit. So we do not have a fifth aircraft, so we move on to Zone 2, and let me move these out of the way. Let's draw our event card. Lost Kameraden. The loss of an old Kameraden weighs heavy. Randomly assign 1 crew stress. Okay, so 2 bad results on our event card so far. We're getting a free stress here. And it goes to I forgot. I put aircraft 5 back in there. Let me redraw. And it is number 2. Number 2. Number 2 gets 1 crew stress. There are crew stress counters, like so. We'll put 1 on the pilot. These cards slide really easy. And 1 on the gunner. Okay, now we will roll for intercept. So here is our, we'll roll for intercept here. So we're going to roll our D10. We got a 2, which is no contact. Now, if we had gotten 1, we would roll on this table to determine if we have fighter escort. All right, we move to number 3, and we draw another event card. Good intel. Remove 1 CS from any 2 pilots. Well, we'll take the stress away from Kluber. So the game giveth and it taketh away, I guess. And now we'll roll again. And we got a 1, which is also no contact. Move to 4. Ace. Your Staffel recognizes a famous Luftwaffe ace flying in your vicinity. Remove 2 crew stress from any crew member. All right. Well, we only have 1 stress left. So like I said, we got stress. We lost stress. Let's roll for intercept. 10. 10 is 1 MiG-3. All right. So now we have an enemy to deal with, an enemy fighter. So since we have an enemy fighter, we have to check our escort. So here we're going to roll 1d6, and we're in June, July. We are in zone 4. So a 1 to 3, and they'll shoot down the 1 enemy fighter. A 4 to 6, they don't shoot anybody down, and we're going to have an attack from the enemy fighter. So let's roll our d6. And we got a 6, which means that they are going to get through the escort. So now we have to do the location of the attack. So here's our fighter, enemy fighter approach and attack table. We're going to roll 2 dice, 1 colored, 1 white, and I'm going to do it correctly this time. So we got our 2 dice here. The first one will designate the approach for the enemy fighter, and the second one will be what happens from the attack. So his approach is a 2, which is port, and then the attack is a 3, which is 1 plane, 2 CS. So for illustrative purposes, we'll put the enemy fighter here at the port position. Okay, so let's draw to see which of our aircraft we get here. And it's our flight leader. So our flight leader is going to draw 2 stress here, which is not great. So there is a ×2 stress counter right here. So we're going to put 1 of those on Rudel and 1 of them on Gunner Hagen. And since that was zone 4, we moved into the target zone now, zone 5. And we do not check for intercept in the target zone. And we do not draw an event card unless the mission objective is in zone 1, which obviously it is not. So now we're going to roll 1d6 on A4, which is up here in the corner. So a 1 to 3, this is for target visibility. A 1 to 3 will be good, a 4 or 5 will be medium, and a 6 will be low. So this is basically, visibility, obviously bad weather or fog or, smoke, etc. from combat, whatever it may be. It's a 6, so that's low. So that's not great, obviously. So we put our visibility counter on low, and that is a +2 DRM on our attack rolls. Okay, so let's do our attack run now. So a couple things to account for. We're going to actually be using our ordnance availability and attack DRM up here, plus the target visibility, which we just rolled, and it's low. And then we're going to have a crew stress adjustment, and a crew quality, if not green. None of our pilots are green. And Rudel's Gamble we're not using. So we've got to look at the crew. Well, let's talk about the ordnance first. I gave the SC-100, which we're allowed to use for 2. It says 2 per mission. That's going to give us a -3 DRM on a large target, which is what we're attacking. So that's good. Of course, this gives us a +2. So that's, we're at a net -1 right now. And then you have a crew stress adjustment. And Rudel's got 2 stress, and he's the only one that has any stress right now. But to look at that, that is on table C2, which is right here. So we're going to roll, and we're going to see what we get for the crew stress. Okay, so let's roll on our crew stress effects here. We roll 1d6. We get a 5, which is +3 DRM for bombing, +2 DRM for landing. So I'm just going to put this up here. Now the pilot has a, I keep picking up the wrong counter. The pilot has a -1 for bailout and landing. So this will actually become a 2 for that. So I'm just going to leave it on the 3 for the moment because we're bombing right now, and then I'll move it down to 2. So he gets a +3. So let's roll for his attack. Our bombing attack accuracy table here, A2. So we roll 1d10, and we're a large target. So this gives you your score. So we roll, we get a 3. So a 3 is a pretty good roll, but we have die roll modifiers, right? So as I said, for the ordnance, he's got the big bomb. So he gets a -3. Then he gets a +2 because of the visibility, which leaves a -1. So his net is going to be a +2. So that 3 becomes a 5, which is a score of 50. So we put his score on the 50. And we move on to our next one. Now his DRM is going to be, he's got 0. So he's going to have the -1. And he gets an 8, which will become a 7, which is a 30. Not a great score. So we're not really doing all that well. Same thing here. It's a -1. Gets a 10, which becomes a 9, which is a 10. Score, also not good. And last but not least, von Schombaum gets a 1. So that's 100. Because you can't modify it. So it's 100. And that's pretty good. So then what we do is we would tally it all up. When we get back, we'll tally it all up. So now we have to do egress. So we move it back in reverse. So we're going to go to 4. And we draw the event card like we did before. And we get rain. Rainy weather lowers the visibility over the target zone. Place target visibility marker on mediums. So this is a no effect because we've already been there. Been there, done that. Let's roll for our fighter intercept. Could you go in the tower? 9. 9 is no contact. So we move to zone 3. We draw a card. Warm fire in the distance. The gunner sees the faint light of a campfire over the objective area. So again, this one won't take any effect. We get an 8. An 8 is 1I-16. I should take this out. Let's replace that with another enemy fighter. So we've got an I-16. Now we'll check for our escort. So we're going to roll our D6. I think you're probably supposed to roll them together maybe. But so we roll a D6 here on table B2. And it's June. And we got a 2. Which is going to be a 1 to 5 is... oh, I'm sorry. What am I doing? We're in zone 3. So we got a 2, and a 1 to 4 is -2. So he's going to shoot down the I-16, and that's going to be that will be that, I guess, as I stumble over my words. Now we go to zone 2. We pull a card. It is heard the one about. Tired but in good spirits. Remove a stress from the highest stressed crew member. So we're going to take a stress from Rudel. We'll remove his 2 and make him a 1. And we'll check for intercept. We got another 8. That's again an I-16. So now we'll roll for the... it's a 2 again, which means that is... we're in zone 2. 1 to 5 is -2. So again, they shoot down the enemy fighter. We go to 1, where there is no intercept possible, but we do pull an event. Clear weather. Again, we don't have any use for this anymore because we've already completed that. And we go to the airfield, and now we have to roll for landing. So there is a landing table. So our landing table is table C5. We roll 1d10. 1 to 9 is safe. 10 is a forced landing, and then we'd have to go to C6. So we know Rudel gets a +2 on his roll. Everybody else gets a -1, which means they're all going to land safely because they can't roll a 10, basically. So I'm only going to roll for Rudel, is the bottom line. We rolled a 5, +2 is a 7. That is a safe landing. Now, he also did not roll for a landing for the crew that was sent back, but they also are a veteran crew and would have the -1 DRM on landing, so they also would not need to roll. I was going to do it, then I realized that, and so I didn't do it. But I neglected to mention it as well. So now that we're back, we would then tally up our mission. In our mission log, we add all the individual scores and divide the total by the number of aircraft which completed an attack. So we would take Rudel's 50, Kluber's 30, that's 80, 90 with Hanna, and then 100 from von Schombaum. So that's 100 110, 140, 190. Divide that by 4. 40, well, it's 47, 47 and a half. So I guess we would round that up to a 48. So that is our score for this mission, is a 48. Now, if we look at our operations score, that would be a marginally successful for that one. Okay, so at the end of the mission, there are things that you would do. You have mission timers for things like damaged aircraft. We actually didn't take any damage. All we took was stress from being shot at, I guess. So we didn't have any damage, so we don't have any timers to place. So we don't have to worry about aircraft damage, repair, replacement crews or hospital, remove crew stress. So if you don't fly a mission, just as kind of is the case in the Leader series, you remove a stress at the end of a mission that crew did not fly. So in this case, the 6 crews that did not fly, well, I guess it's really 5. So the 5 crews that didn't fly at all, they don't have any stress, so they don't lose any stress. And so that's it. And we would move on to the second mission. So I do plan on doing a part 2 with the second mission to see, to kind of keep things rolling here. We'll draw another target. I'll fly the other. I'll try at least to fly the other 5 crews that did not fly on this first mission, and that would give Rudel and his gunner a chance to drop 1 stress, and that would be, good for them, obviously. So that is going to do it for this video. I do thank you for watching. Please consider liking, sharing, and or subscribing. Please post any comments you might have. I'm always happy to answer any questions or take any tips or whatever from you guys. But yeah, like I said, that's it for this one. I'm Joe. This is Hexed Encountered, and until next time, as always, happy gaming.